In the beginning of the drama, our female lead, Juan, who is seen returning home with a printed advertisement. Her dad tries to explain to her that she should talk properly with her stepmom. We find out that Juan's mom and dad got divorced years ago, but suddenly Juan's mom had sent her to stay with her father, and Juan was not feeling good about it at all. Then our male lead Lynn makes his entry. Because of a red light, he stops his bicycle right in front of them. During that moment, their eyes meet for the first time. But as soon as the light turns green, Juan's father suddenly crosses in front of Lynn's cycle. This makes him very angry, so he also goes ahead and crosses in front of them. Even her father gets upset. But when Juan looks at him again, she smiles. After that, Juan reaches father's house. There, she is introduced to her stepmom and his son. At dinner, they serve her food, but Juan says she does not like that dish. Father tells her that her aunt made it with love, and she should at least respect that. Juan reminds him that she is allergic to it and asks if he has forgotten everything about her. Feeling hurt, she leaves the food and goes to her room. From behind, father keeps shouting that this is not how someone behaves on the first day and blames her mom for spoiling her. On the other hand, Lynn runs a silver jewelry shop. Meanwhile, dad asks Juan if she brought enough clothes, or else they can buy more the next day. Juan says there is no need because she will return the day after tomorrow. Hearing this, dad wants to tell her something but stays quiet. Juan gets suspicious and asks if he is hiding something. He tells her to go sleep, but she tries to go outside to ask aunt. Dad stops her, and during that moment, the bracelet in Juan's hand falls down and breaks. It was a gift from her mom. Dad leaves, and Juan picks up the broken bracelet sadly. She messages her mom saying she does not want to stay there, but there is no reply. Even her call does not connect. Next day, she goes to a shop to repair the bracelet, and that shop belongs to the male lead, Lynn. His friends Young and Tian also help there. Young says he can fix the bracelet quickly and tells Juan to look around the shop. When she picks up a pen to see it, Young suddenly shouts at her not to touch it. In the confusion, the bracelet falls again and breaks more. Juan gets angry, but Lynn tells her not to worry and promises to fix it in 2 or 3 days. She says she is leaving tomorrow, and he replies that he will still manage. Meanwhile, some men outside start shouting and damaging things because their car got scratched after being parked badly. They demand compensation. Lynn argues that they're the ones causing damage now. Soon, a fight breaks out. He tells Juan not to worry about the bracelet and locks the shop door before joining the fight. It turns into a strong street fight. Juan watches from inside and smiles, seeing him beat those men near the window. Since she is getting late, she leaves a note saying she is taking the pen, and after fixing the bracelet, they can exchange their thing. Later, Dad calls her to tell the truth, but before she arrives, her mom leaves. Dad reveals that her mom sent her there permanently and even transferred her school to Lehigh High School. Shocked, Juan asks where mom went. Dad says she has already left abroad and tells Juan to understand who truly cares for her and learn to live nicely with aunt and her son. After that, Juan goes to the airport and keeps calling her mom. Finally, her mom answers and says it is better for her to stay with dad. Juan cries, saying dad never cared for her and does not even remember her like. But her mom cuts the call after telling her to take care. Heartbroken, Juan sits inside a shop thinking maybe neither mom nor dad loves her. Suddenly, one of the same men from the fight comes outside angrily. He tries to enter the shop, but Lynn arrives just in time and reminds him of the last beating. The man runs, but his friends appear and attack. Once again, Lynn fights fiercely, and even his friends join in to help him. After that, once again a fight starts between the gangs. Seeing this scene, Juan smiles again. When Lynn comes in front of those men, he and Juan look at each other, and both quietly smile for a moment. After that, he walks toward Juan and asks her about the pen. He also tells her that he will repair her bracelet and give it to her tomorrow. Juan calmly replies that it is fine because she is not going back tomorrow anymore. Hearing this, he gives her a small cake and leaves. Juan stands there smiling softly for a while. At night, when Juan returns home, Dad scolds her again and again, saying that her mom has spoiled her badly and she does not know how to behave properly. Juan ignores his words and quietly goes to her room. There she sits alone and keeps remembering her mom while thinking about everything that has happened. Next morning, Juan goes to her new high school for the first time. The teacher asks her to stand in front of the class and introduce herself. Juan has just started giving her introduction when Lynn suddenly enters the classroom. At that moment, their eyes meet once again. Lynn walks calmly to the back and sits on the last bench. After that, the teacher asks Juan to sit on the second last bench. She quietly goes there and sits down. Meanwhile, Young also enters the class late and the teacher scolds him a little. Later, Young walks toward Juan and asks her about his pen. Juan says that once he repairs her bracelet, she will also return his pen. Lynn does not say much and ignores them and simply walks away. Young says how can she talk to them because everyone in school is scared of their gang and nobody usually talks to them like that. After that, the class topper takes Juan around the school and shows her different places. In the canteen, Juan suddenly sees two girls bullying another girl from her class. The topper quietly warns Juan to stay away from those girls because they always trouble other students and nobody wants problems with them. Instead, she sits beside her and she says, "So you are Lynn?" And he says, "And you're Juan." She asks about her bracelet. He tells her it had fixed. "You can take it tomorrow." Next morning, Dad tries to wake Juan up, but she does not respond. Dad becomes angry again, but his wife calms him down and takes him outside. After some time, Juan finally comes out of her room. Aunt's son also comes outside. She introduces herself, but he proudly ignores Juan and walks away. After that, Juan goes to the school terrace. There she sees Lynn sitting on top of the water tank. Meanwhile, she also talks to Dad about staying in the school hostel. Dad softly refuses her request, and this makes Juan feel upset and disappointed. At that moment, Juan notices those same girls bullying another student again. She walks straight toward them and warns them calmly. She tells them that if teachers find out about their dyed hair and their bullying, they will definitely be punished. The girls try to scare Juan, but she confidently tells them did they know who is her desk mate and says them to think carefully before threatening her. Then she takes the bullied girl away from there. Meanwhile, Tion sees Lynn leaving and later talks to Lynn about her. He tells him that the bracelet girl studies in their school. Lynn casually replies that she is not only in their school, but also in his class, and even sits near his desk. Later during the PE class, nobody wants to become Juan's partner for exercise. Seeing this, Young tells Lynn that his desk mate is standing alone and he should help her. But Lynn simply says not to worry because she will manage somehow. And surprisingly, Juan really manages by tying dumbbells around her legs and exercising in her own strange style, making everyone look at her with surprise. Lynn quietly watches and smiles slightly while observing her from a distance. Meanwhile, Lynn finally returns Juan's bracelet, and he has repaired it very carefully and beautifully. Seeing the bracelet fixed so well already makes Juan happy, but what surprises her even more is when she sees Lynn gently taking care of a small cat outside the shop. At that moment, Juan understands something important. Just then, his friends Young and Tion also arrive there while bringing food with them. Juan was about to leave, but Lynn tells her that she should stay and have dinner with them first. Because of this, she decides to stay. Meanwhile, Lynn quietly shows Juan around the house and tells her that this place actually belongs to his uncle. He also explains that the silver jewelry shop is his uncle's too, and it was his uncle who taught him how to make silver jewelry with his own hand. After showing her the shop items, he goes outside for a moment because the cat had also gone outside. When Lynn comes back inside, he sees that Juan has fallen asleep on the sofa while waiting for them. Seeing this, he gently places a blanket over her. Then he slowly leans closer to look at her face. Suddenly, while sleeping, Juan's hand moves and lightly slaps his cheek. Lynn freezes for a second and just keeps staring at her in surprise. After a moment, Juan wakes up and realizes what happened. Both of them keep looking at each other awkwardly. Feeling embarrassed, Juan asks if she slapped him while sleeping. Lynn suddenly bursts into laughter. Juan jokingly says that the last person who slapped him probably did not survive. Hearing this, Lynn smiles and replies that nobody has ever dared to slap him before, but she is the first person who slapped him and is still standing safely in front of him. Just then, Lynn hears his uncle shouting outside. The house owner has come again to increase the rent. In fact, this was already the 5th time in the same year that he was increasing the rent, so Lynn's uncle was angrily arguing with him. The owner had even brought another woman who wanted to rent the house for a higher price. Lynn walks outside to talk to the owner, but suddenly Juan gets an idea. She also goes outside and loudly starts complaining about the house. She says the house looks strange, nothing is properly fixed. Water is leaking from many places, and the backside even feels like a haunted house. Hearing all this, the woman quickly changes her mind and leaves. After that, Lynn calmly tells the owner to stop increasing the rent again and again, promising that he will pay the higher rent next month. Meanwhile, Young and Tion also arrive and somehow send the owner away. When everything becomes quiet, the 4 friends return inside the house. Young and Tion offer to ask their parents for money to help Lynn, but he refuses and says he will manage somehow. now. Since it is already very late at night, he tells everyone to go home. While leaving, Juan asks Young and Tion about Lynn's family. They explain that Lynn's parents live abroad and rarely care about him, so he never asks them for help. Father's family situation is complicated, so he avoids contacting them too. After that, Juan also leaves for home. On the way, she stops at a medical store and buys medicine for her younger brother, who has a cold. But at the same time, she decides that she will move into the school hostel. However, the hostel fee is very high, almost 1,200 yuan for one semester. Meanwhile, Lynn is also trying to sell his handmade silver jewelry by contacting different people and posting photos on social media, but he does not receive much response. Meanwhile, Juan starts working full-time on the marketing for Lynn's shop. She says she would help them, and they have to give her 5% from profit, and they agree. She creates a very beautiful and professional website for the shop, uploading photos and videos of all the product. Using her creative ideas, she promotes the shop online and makes it go viral. Within just 2 days, the website starts receiving a large number of visitors. Many people even place orders for jewelry online. She also adds an option where customers can come to the shop and request custom design, which attracts a lot of attention. People show great interest, and the team starts preparing for it. Some customers come a little hesitant at first, but they like the design. One day, a couple comes to see the jewelry in the shop. They like one piece, but ask why it is in the showcase if it is not for sale. Lynn explains that the item is for display only. The couple becomes angry and starts arguing, and the man even shouts at the shop rules. Lynn gets very angry, but tries to stay calm. Despite his effort, the customer writes a negative review online. Later, after the incident, 2 more customers post bad reviews as well. Because of these reviews, the next day, many orders are canceled. That night, the team sits together to calculate profits and losses. They realize that although they sold 3 items in 1 day earlier, this time their profit is much lower. Juan asks Lynn why he did not want to sell the showcase items and why he reacted so strictly. Lynn explains that some items are not meant to be sold. They are only for display. Juan feels a little upset because she wants to avoid situations like this in the future, but she decides to go and heads home. The next day at school, Juan ignores Lynn completely. Tion comes to talk to her and tells her that there might be his personal reason. That's why he does not want to explain. He asks why she is not wearing her bracelet. She is worried it might break again. Tion reassures her that Lynn had repaired her bracelet carefully by spending 3 nights on it, with no marks or damage at all. Meanwhile, Lynn realizes that he spoke rudely to Juan earlier and decides to start fresh with a better attitude. While Juan works on her website, he starts designing new jewelry pieces. She posts about each design online, highlighting their uniqueness and specialties for different customers. Website traffic increases again, attracting more visitors. Juan calls everyone for a meeting, and Lynn apologizes for his earlier behavior. Now, the team starts working even harder. From the next day onward, the shop sees many customers buying something, resulting in good profit. Juan jokingly tells Lynn not to forget her 5% profit share and suggests they all celebrate a little. Later, Juan returns to the shop to take photos of the jewelry. While there, she overhears the teacher talking to Lynn, reminding him that working all night on the shop could affect her studies and health. Lynn promises to focus on school, come on time, and take care of his health. Then she leaves the shop after finishing her photos. In school, they were discussing when the school topper comes and tells them that if their marks place them in the top 10 in the coming exams, they will all receive scholarship money. This motivates everyone. Juan feels inspired and encourages the group to study seriously so they can win the scholarship. Later, Juan meets Yunmei, who also lives in the dorm. Yunmei reminds her that the application deadline is near. Then Lynn and his friends were sitting on the basketball court, and some boys nearby start teasing Juan. Lynn throws a water bottle at them, but one boy continues to make fun of her. Lynn steps in, firmly warns him, and tells him not to even think about teasing Juan because she is his desk mate. Juan watches silently, confused about the interaction between them. While organizing the lights in shop, Juan notices a childhood photo of Lynn with his father. The next day in physics class, Lynn arrives late again. The teacher gives him questions, which Lynn quickly completes in his seat with the help of Juan. Lynn thanks her but explains that his physics isn't as bad as everyone thinks. Lynn leaves, and Juan helps him with studying by sending interesting questions through their group chat. Exam day arrives. Lynn nervously fills in the answers and falls asleep with 10 minutes remaining. Juan notices, gently wakes him, and Lynn submits the paper. Afterward, All of them leave the exam hall with confidence. Juan, seeing Lynn asleep during the exam, doubts whether he will pass. But one should never underestimate the backbencher. When the results come, Young passes, and Juan is in the top 10. She cannot immediately see his name, so Lynn checks the notice board. Juan goes to the board and sees the results herself. Everyone is shocked when they realize that she ranked 3rd in the entire school. People are amazed because she had always been underestimated, and yet her talent shone through. He completed all the exams quickly, leaving some questions unanswered, but his answers were accurate and smart. The teacher praises Lynn's efforts and credits Juan for helping him improve, acknowledging her dedication and intelligence. Juan felt embarrassed in front of everyone. Even though Lynn had apologized, she was still a little upset. The next day, Lynn came up to Juan and apologized. Everything between them seemed sorted out. Suddenly, he became popular because even the top students approached her, asking physics questions and complimenting his intelligence. Later, the class teacher called both Juan and Lynn and told them that only one student per class would get the scholarship based on overall performance. They both had a chance. Juan immediately decided she would apply because she had an urgent need for the scholarship money. She told Lynn about her background with a dramatic tone. She came from a very poor village and wanted to bring some development to her hometown, so the scholarship would be a big help. Lynn teased her lightly, joking that his own village was also poor and that he understood her struggle. Just then, her childhood friend Ming appeared. Juan was overjoyed and ran to greet him. He explained that he had come to the city for a school meeting and had not expected to see her there. She introduced him to her friends and invited him to a nearby cafe. The next day, she officially applied for the scholarship, submitting her form along with the last date for fee. The dormitory warden asked her to bring her balance sheet signed by her parents, otherwise she couldn't stay there. Meanwhile, Lynn heard from the school group that next week there would be an inter-school competition. The school needed the best athletes, and Ming was among the top candidates. Lynn remembered that Ming was Juan's childhood friend. Ming comes to meet Juan and asks her to transfer to their school because there are more faculties like free hostel, and there are also many scholarships. Juan liked this opportunity. Then she gave him Lynn's school shirt so that nobody can recognize him. Lynn also come to know about her transfer, and seeing her shirt on Ming, he gets angry. Later, teacher asks who is participating in race. Lynn raises his hand, which makes everyone shocked. Then Young also joins him. Juan saws Lynn had done signature on her dormitory letter because he doesn't want her to leave school. Meanwhile, the inter-school competition loomed large. Ming and Lynn prepared for the 3,000-meter race. The race was intense. Lynn first runs slow and others run fast and got tired soon. Then Lynn starts running fast and becomes equal to Ming. He saw Juan, who starts cheering for her, and seeing this he starts running more fast. And he wins the race. She congratulates him, and they starts talking when she tells him she had submitted her dormitory application and don't want to leave this school. Lynn smiled and was relieved and happy for her. With the holidays starting the next day, everyone was planning trips and fun activities. Young told Lynn that since they had holidays together, they could go out and explore. But Lynn reminded him he had responsibility. He needed to manage the shop, increase sale. Juan also says that she want to focus on her studies. However, Juan soon learned that her father had returned home unexpectedly. When she arrived, he scolded her for going to the hostel without permission. But Juan stood her ground, saying firmly, "I don't want to live here. This is not my home." Her father became angry and lightly slapped her, but she remained firm. Liang also gets angry on his father and says he had signed her application because they had fight and she doesn't want to live there. On her way back to hostel, Juan stopped at a convenience store. Her cheek still had a mark from the slap, which Lynn noticed at first. When he asked what was wrong, she said, "I'm really angry. I want to hit someone right now." Lynn jokingly asked if she wanted to fight him, and Juan playfully hit him 5 times on the head. Later, they joked about looking at the stars. Lynn asked, "Do you want to see the stars?" Juan nodded and says, "Come, I'll punch you and you'll see stars." They laughed together. Lynn later came to drop Juan at the dormitory and asked if she wanted to join a short 2-day trip with friends to check forms and do a school activity. Juan agreed and decided to bring Yunmei along. They all carefully plan the trip. Then Liang arrives to see her if she's fine. Then he asks, is she not coming home in holidays? She says, "I'm going with my friends for a trip." She asks him to join us. First he refuses, then she convinces him. The next day, Liang came to pick everyone up. Everyone introduced themselves, and after that, they all sat together in the vehicle. They finally reached the campsite. Tion had already arranged separate tents for girls and boys, so everyone settled in comfortably. That evening, everyone played a fun game of truth or dare. Juan drank a little, not too much, but enough to feel lightheaded. Lynn, always looking out for her, took her to a nearby field where tall crops surrounded them, and it was pitch dark. Suddenly, as the clock struck midnight, lights illuminated the entire farmland. The whole area glowed beautifully, looking like a magical wonderland. Juan was awestruck, completely surprised at the sight. Lynn told her, "Even if you can't see stars in the city at night, this place looks even more beautiful than the stars." Juan smiled and said, "Even though I hit you earlier, you still showed me this beautiful view." She apologized for her mood earlier, explaining how upset she had been after arguing with her father. Lynn laughed gently and said, "Next time, just give me a little time before beating me, okay?" They both laughed. Later, Lynn waited for Juan outside, reminding her to hurry. She asked where they were going, and he hinted at a secret place, the same spot he had promised her before. They traveled back to the city and eventually reached a hospital, where Lynn introduced Juan to his younger uncle. He explained that Juan had been helping save their shop and was a good friend, which impressed his uncle. Later, Nurse explained that the day before, a boy of Lynn's age had insisted on meeting the patient, but as outsiders aren't usually allowed, he couldn't. Before leaving, Juan asked about that boy. Lynn was telling when Juan's brother calls her to go home due to some emergency. Once they entered the house, both Juan and her brother pretended to fight very seriously, yelling that they didn't want to stay there. He complained that he too didn't want to stay with her, and they both went to their room. Lynn sent a message confirming everything was fine at home. When her father came to talk, she pretended to be angry, saying he was being taught by Liang's mother to respect her decision. Father finally gave her permission. Meanwhile, at her uncle's shop, a boy had entered looking for something. At that moment, Juan returned from her errands. The boy found a paper, which was Uncle's manuscript for making the silver ornaments. Juan noticed the boy and asked who he was. He introduced himself as Sing, saying that Lynn hadn't told her about him. Lynn angrily confronted him, asking how he had dared to come there. Sing explained calmly that it wasn't just his house, so he had a right to be there. Lynn asked if he had come to meet the uncle. Sing confirmed, and Lynn then pressed him against the wall in anger. Juan intervened, trying to stop the confrontation. Sing eventually left, and Juan noted that his hand had been hurt during the scuffle. Later, Juan went to a nearby medical shop, bought some medicine, and brought it back. Lynn had been shouted at Juan without reason, so the next day he came with a bandage on his hand. Then Juan sat on the bench across from him in the cafeteria, ignoring him otherwise. The next day, Juan asked Tion and Young about Sing's identity. They were both very angry when they learned that Sing had been in the shop. They warned Juan never to listen to him if he approached her again. They were unsure about his exact relationship with the family. Perhaps he was the son of her uncle's younger brother, but they knew the story would become clearer later. Juan, meanwhile, stopped by a convenience store to get some food before heading home. He hadn't eaten yet, and Lynn, noticing her, smiled and called her inside gently. He walked in, and he immediately apologized for the earlier incident. Juan carefully bandaged his hand and sat with him. While looking at the pictures, she realized that his birthday was coming up in just a few days. Juan called Tion and Young to discuss the birthday plans, but they kept giving her strange suggestions. Then both of them asked to Juan, "What about your gift? What are you planning?" Juan smiled and said, "I want to give him a birthday that brings back some of the childhood he missed." Meanwhile, she had also invited Yunmei to the birthday. Early the next morning, Juan called Young. Young handed her a pen drive, which she plugged into her laptop. He asked, "Why do you need these details about his uncle?" Juan calmly replied, "It's for his birthday gift." Young was curious. "What exactly are you preparing?" Juan smiled mysteriously. "This is my gift, and I don't want anyone interfering," and playfully ran off, hiding the surprise. Juan secretly edited videos showing the uncle teaching Lynn to ride a bicycle, adding music and special effects to make it entertaining and heartfelt. In the evening, Lynn's elder uncle visited his shop and to wish him a happy birthday in advance and present the gift. When they opened it, they were amazed. The uncle had officially dedicated the shop to him. Since Lynn had done so much for the shop, an ownership agreement had been prepared to officially transfer it to him on his 18th birthday. Tomorrow is Lynn's birthday, so Young has prepared everything for his gift. He arrives at Juan's house. She raises an eyebrow, and "How are you planning to get him there? What's your excuse to call him out?" Inside, Lynn notices everyone waiting outside and comes to check. Why are you all standing there? Why haven't you come in? Juan explains, Young wanted to tell you something, and in a rush, Young blurts out, will you come to the mall with us? Lynn eagerly agrees, and Young is shocked. He didn't expect Lynn to say yes. They all play on the rides, laugh at the little things, and enjoy themselves like kids again. Afterwards, they all return to the shop. Everyone dives into the meal. However, at the hospital, Lynn's uncle's condition worsens, his organs begin failing, and the doctors rush into treatment. Everyone at the birthday, carefree and laughing, suddenly receives a call. Lynn's phone rings. Juan answers it and immediately realizes the situation. Lynn quickly grabs his bike and rushes to the hospital. Meanwhile, Lynn's memories of learning to ride a bike with his uncle flood back. Every fall, every laugh, every moment captured in the videos Juan prepared. He watches the videos and smiles through tears, hearing his uncle's voice wishing him a happy birthday through sound cloning. Suddenly, doctors emerge from the operation room, revealing that the procedure was successful. He recalled the last birthday they celebrated together, the day his uncle had taught him to craft silver ornaments with his own hands. Back then, Lynn had promised, on your birthday, I'll make a special gift for you, entirely on my own. His uncle had smiled and said, when you grow up, I'll dedicate this shop to your name. Juan, aware of the pressure he was under, called her friends together. We have 3 main tasks, she explained. First, I'll prepare all your class notes so you won't fall behind. Second, we need to ensure he eats on time and the shop's rent is paid, which means someone has to manage the shop. Third, Tion will handle the food and run the shop while we make sure everything else is ready. After school, Tion and Young came to the shop and saw Lynn busy with his work. Not wanting to disturb him, they quietly left and stepped outside. Juan peeked in, brought him some food, and left it on the table without interrupting his focus. The ornament wasn't coming together easily. It kept breaking, frustrating Lynn. To calm himself, he stepped outside and discovered a note from Juan along with some food. Seeing it, he became happy. That evening, Juan took Lynn to the hospital terrace. Juan reassured him, don't worry, your uncle will get better. He smiled and thanked her. She added, if you are happy, then we all are. We'll all be okay. Finally, Lynn completed the ornament. He told Juan, I will keep the promise I made to my uncle. Lynn completed the ornament just in time for his uncle's birthday. Overjoyed, Lynn celebrated the moment and gives ornament in hand of his uncle. The next day, Juan got ready and joined Lynn. They boarded a bus together, listening to music on their earphones as they traveled to a huge amusement park. Lynn said, you've taken care of me all this time. Today, I want us to have fun together. When I'm happy, you'll be happy too. Upon entering, Juan took him first to the hardware game area, where they enjoyed watching each other play and clicked countless photos and videos. They rode the tallest rides, capturing every thrilling moment. Afterwards, Juan spotted a shop selling teddy bears. There was a balloon game with 20 balloons to pop in a row. She tried first, but couldn't pop a single balloon, making her laugh. Lynn accepted the challenge, determined to pop all 20 balloons to win the teddy bear for Juan. He announced, if I don't succeed, I'll take an extra turn. But if I manage, this teddy bear will be yours. Balloons floated in the air, and he began popping them one by one with incredible precision. Juan picked up a rabbit plush from another stall, and together they wandered through the park, enjoying the playful chaos. When Lynn teased her, asking if the teddy bear was for him, Juan replied teasingly, it's mine, of course, and they exchanged toys in a playful back and forth. At school the next day, teachers announced a half-day for all students on Friday, which initially excited everyone. However, they also mentioned a parent-teacher meeting during the half-day, which dampened the mood. On the meeting day inside, Juan was shocked to see her mother, who had come to the city unexpectedly. Her mom asks, why are you living in Dominatory? His dad had sent Juan here, but she insisted she had come on her own will. I wanted to be here, and I've been managing very well in the hostel. Why worry now? You left me here earlier, and I've been fine, she said firmly. But before she could protest further, her mother unexpectedly arrived at the dormitory. She told Juan, you'll be staying with me for a few days. After about 20 minutes, Juan reluctantly packed her essentials and followed her mother. Meanwhile, her mother had summoned Dad to address the situation. She scolded him for failing to take proper care of Juan. forcing her to earn her own way and sending her to the dormitory without supervision. "I've done what you failed to do." Someone told her that her mother left her with her father because a problem occurred in her mom's company. She went to her mother and argues that nobody loves me. You and dad both don't want me, and then leaves from there. Feeling guilty for having argued with her mother the previous day, Juan reflected on her words and actions. When she reached the shop, she admitted to Lynn, "I spoke sharply to my mom yesterday. I didn't mean to hide it from you, but I didn't know how to explain." Lynn comforted her gently, saying, "It's all right. Just remember, I'm always here. Whenever you need someone, you can talk to me." Later, Lynn escorted Juan back to the dormitory. By the time they arrived, the gates were closed, but Juan managed to sneak in through a secret passage with Lynn's help. Later, Juan's mother contacted her to remind her about their New Year celebration plans. And then Lynn decided to meet at the Tank Tower at midnight to celebrate together. Then at night, Juan had dinner with her mother and some family friends. With just 15 minutes left to midnight, she told her mom, "I have something I need to do, so I'm leaving," trying to stop her mom from insisting. But Juan hurried and made her way to the tent house at the tower. She was on the ground floor. Only 5 minutes were left. As the last numbers were called, they met in the middle and wished each other a very happy new year. They looked up at the sky filled with fireworks, both thrilled to finally be celebrating together. Meanwhile, Juan's mother finished her dinner and stepped out, noticing Juan talking to someone. She went to elevator and Juan also entered there. Her mother reminded her, "I'm here only to bring you back. After your semester finals, I've also arranged your school transfer." Juan asked why she had to go. "I don't want to go back. I've prepared everything here. This is final," she said. She asked her dad to stop taking her to Viking City, but he can't do anything. After finishing all her exams, she went to her father's house to collect her belongings for the last time. The exam results came, and both Juan and her friends had scored very low marks, which shocked everyone. Juan sat quietly in class, feeling a little lost. Lynn still hadn't come to school, so she missed him a lot. She kept Lynn's book with her for comfort. Young and Tian, feeling nervous, wondered how they could have failed the exam. Probably something went wrong. At that moment, the teacher explained that the overall class performance wasn't very good this time. The teacher also announced to the class that Juan would be transferred to another school. Young called Lynn to meet Juan at least, but he was in Operation Theater with Uncle. Lynn came out of the operating room, checked his phone, and updated Young about everything. Lynn rushed to the airport, but network issues and traffic made him worry he might miss them. He couldn't reach soon. After landing, her phone was taken away because her new school didn't allow phone. Her mother instructed her to focus fully on preparing for her college entrance exams. Juan felt upset she couldn't contact her friends immediately, but understood that she would meet new friends at her new school. Despite the doctor's best efforts, it was clear that saving him was impossible. His uncle was dead. Meanwhile, Juan tried constantly to reach her mom over the phone but couldn't get through, which made her feel even more helpless. The story shows an emotional scene at the graveyard, where friends and family gathered to pay their respect. Lynn also came, remembering how his uncle had taught him to make silver ornaments. Lynn's father also arrives there. Here Juan tried to remember Lynn's phone number and wrote down what she could recall. Lynn's father advised him to focus fully on his career. He told him to temporarily close the shop and dedicate himself to his studies so that he could make her uncle proud. His father assured her that he would visit soon. When the day of the exams arrived, Juan and Lynn both performed exceptionally well. A few days later, the results confirmed that they had passed. Juan's mother had already arranged her university admission at the top university in Viking City. Ming asked Juan about her university plans and her chosen major. She told him she wanted to study finance and confirmed that her mother had already finalized the admission. Ming encouraged her, saying, "Do what you love. If finance is your passion, pursue it." After completing all the forms, she informed her mother. Her mother initially expressed disappointment that Juan hadn't consulted her, but Juan replied firmly, "This is my life, and I will decide what to study and where to go." Juan packed and traveled to Viking City. During the journey, she noticed a familiar boy in a uniform. She checked her phone and saw multiple missed messages from the past year, messages she hadn't replied to because her mother had taken her phone. Once she arrived, Lynn also enters in university. Tion, asking if he had received a surprise. He told Lynn that Juan has come back and is also in the same university. Juan had already entered the university and was heading to the physics department to check on her dormitory. She learned that Lynn had arrived earlier and was likely inside the dorm already. Suddenly, heavy rain started. Juan ran to find shelter in a nearby building. On the way, her trolley slips and she ran to caught it. Then Lynn noticed her and ran over, offering his umbrella. Juan was extremely relieved and happy. Lynn also helped lift her trolley, which had slipped in the rain, and carried it safely into the building. Juan explained that she had come straight to the university despite her good marks, because they had promised each other they would attend college together. Lynn asked if she would still have come if he hadn't. Juan smiled and said she had been confident he would come. Then her stop comes. Lynn asks if she wants to say anything else. She says, "We have planned a dinner. Can you join us?" Lynn stays silent because he was angry with her. Inside, Juan was happy to see Sia there again. Sia had discovered Juan's name on the university admission list and had taken this room, which made Juan extremely glad. Their roommate mentioned that she had movie tickets and she wouldn't go there, so she offers Juan and Sia, but Sia was not free, so she asked Juan to go with Lynn and sort out everything. Juan agreed, thinking it would be a good way to clear misunderstandings and spend time together. Soon the movie began. The movie was so engaging that Lynn didn't hear her. After it ended, they returned to the dormitory sadly. She says, "I know I messed up yesterday. I understand if you were angry, but after having milkshakes and peanuts together, can we please stop being upset at each other?" Lynn smiled and teased that he wouldn't let her off easily, but Juan insisted and sent him a message. "Please don't be angry at me. I know you're upset, but I really want us to move past it." Meanwhile, her roommate had organized a karaoke party in their dorm. Everyone was drinking and singing. Juan also drinks there. She calls Lynn to apologize and requested, "Please don't be angry at me." Lynn, noticing she had been drinking a little, offered to come pick her up. Juan suggested meeting at her shop instead. When she arrived, Lynn also reaches there. Eventually, he found her sitting quietly on the roof at the back of the house, sipping a drink. Lynn came up, teasingly pulling her down. Juan kept repeating, "Please don't be angry at me." Finally, Lynn smiled and reassured her he wasn't angry. She explained everything from the beginning. "I wanted to meet you. That's why I waited outside the school. You were at the hospital, and my mom even took my phone, so I couldn't contact you. Still, I tried very hard to find your number, writing down many numbers secretly. I really missed you every day." Lynn admitted he missed her too. They hugged. Lynn apologized, but Juan laughed, saying it was her mistake. The next morning, Sia asks Juan, where did their conversation with Lynn leave off? Juan was shocked to hear some details she had forgotten. Sia explained everything. Juan then remembered the moment when she told Lynn, "I miss you," and how he had gently tugged her ears and hugged her while she cried. She felt slightly embarrassed recalling it, but smiled. As classes started, she headed inside, thinking about what Lynn might have said. Then Lynn called her. Juan, wanting to avoid him, said, "I'm in class now. Can we talk later?" But Lynn appeared right behind her, smiling. She turned nervously, and he said, "So you're in class? I came to meet you anyway." Juan laughed, saying she had important work. Lynn teased that he had come specifically to see her. She blushed. Lynn gave Juan a hangover drink, and she laughed, saying, "Sia told me you came last night just to see me." "Thank you for that." Lynn asked, "Do you remember what happened last night?" Juan hesitated. She had drunk a little too much and didn't remember clearly. "Did I do something wrong?" she asked. Lynn smiled and reminded her that she had accidentally hit his head. Juan gasped, "How could I hit you?" But Lynn laughed it off. He advised her not to drink too much next time. Seeing her nervous, Lynn teased, "If you want to hide next time, at least pick a better hiding spot." Juan smiled sheepishly and ran off. Her friends continued teasing her, asking what kind of girl Lynn liked. Juan stayed quiet, listening. Sia asked hypothetically, what if he truly fell in love with a girl? How would it feel? Juan smiled and joked, "I'd celebrate by setting off fireworks for his happiness." A little away from her, Lynn was sitting a few tables away and overheard everything. He didn't look pleased. Juan returned to her dorm, still thinking about the conversation, and sent Lynn a message jokingly asking, "Who do you like?" He smiled after reading it. The next morning, Juan woke up and checked her phone. He hadn't replied yet. She woke and go to a restaurant with her friends for breakfast. Juan ran to get yogurt for them. While inside, she noticed a boy who looked very familiar, almost like Lynn from his back. She paused, staring, but then Lynn appeared from behind, teasing her. "Since when were you staring at her? Is she your type?" Juan laughed nervously and said, "I just came for breakfast." They placed their food on the table, and sat down together. Later, while walking outside, they overheard girls talking about the freshman basketball match that evening between the physics department and finance department. Lynn, being the most handsome in the physics department, was playing. That evening, Juan got ready and headed to the basketball court. Lynn's gaze was focused only on her, and they exchanged a shy smile. Lynn came over and gently took her jacket. "Do you know why I came here to play today?" he asked playfully. Juan says why? He says to see which team will she support? Juan cheered for him, her eyes following every move he made. Soon they won the match. Smiling, he took out his phone and sent Juan a message, inviting her to lunch. The next morning, Juan with friends headed for breakfast. At the bus stop, they saw Lynn. Juan realized it was the right moment to express her feeling, but before she could, a girl from physics approached him. Lynn handed her a bracelet, and Juan's anger surged. She thought it was meant for her. Her emotions peaked as she watched him place it on the girl's wrist, her heart sinking a little. Back in her room, Juan called him and shouts on him, "You let her take water, and now the bracelet too? What is happening between you two?" She cuts the call angrily. Lynn sent her messages, "I need to tell you something. Please come down." A little nervous, Juan went down. Lynn met her and said sincerely, "I want to take you somewhere and explain." She hesitated but agreed. They waited for the bus, sitting together in the back seat, letting the old memories wash over them. Lynn handed her earphones, and they listened to music quietly, smiling and recalling past moments together. Eventually, they arrived at their old high school. Though the gates were closed, they climbed the wall to enter. Afterwards, they moved to the area outside their old classroom. Then, finally, they made their way to the terrace hangout spot. Juan's happiness soared as she whispered, "Ever since I left school, I've missed coming here. I always wanted to come back, especially with you." Lynn smiled, holding her hand gently. He told her about the bracelet incident during the basketball match. Lynn had given it to another girl, and Juan had laughed, realizing what he had thought at the time. Juan explained how she had been nervous before meeting him again after a year of no contact. She had doubted herself, unsure how to face him, and feared it would be awkward. A fireworks lit up the night sky. Lynn gently held her hand, and Juan smiled, her fingers intertwining with his. Juan asked softly, "So, what did you feel when I told you I missed you?" Lynn chuckled and replied, "I missed you too, every single day." They laughed and kissed. Hand in hand, they walked back to the college. When they reached Juan's room, they found her fourth roommate crying because of her recent breakup. Juan gently sat her down and explained that she too had experienced heartbreak in high school. Juan calls Lynn to hide their relationship for some time because her friend had a breakup. Lynn became sad. Lynn asked, "How long do we have to keep our relationship a secret?" Juan smiled, "Don't worry, I won't make you wait much longer. Once the time is right, we'll tell everyone." Meanwhile, Juan wasn't in her room. She had gone to the station area to spend some time alone. Lynn teased, "How long are we going to stay quiet like this?" Juan replied, "Her friend will move on soon. We just have a few more days of waiting." Later, they sat down to select their own extra courses. Juan asked Lynn which course he would take. She asks to choose shooting, but he becomes little sad, but he doesn't want to show his sadness and says they should choose basketball. The next morning, gossip spread across the college about Juan and his girlfriend. Most people thought the most beautiful girl from the physics department was dating him, but Lynn remained nonchalant. Juan's friends, however, worried about her, knowing she had proof that he was hurt. They wanted to cheer her up, so they prepared her well and encouraged her to participate in the college guitar club's show. Her friends urged Juan to take photos with the boys so they could show Lynn later to make him jealous. Sia posted Juan's photos on social media, which Lynn noticed. He smiled when he saw her, and when someone asked if they wanted to perform, they encouraged Juan to go on stage. Juan was nervous, unsure if she could sing properly, but the three friends coaxed her onto the stage. With confidence, she started playing the guitar and sang a song she had written just for Lynn. He was thrilled and touched by her performance. Meanwhile, Juan quietly comes to meet Lynn. He says today, "My girlfriend met so many new people, and interestingly, they were all boys." She asks him for being jealous after seeing her with boys in photo. She says by the way his boyfriend looks more cute when he becomes jealous. They both smile. Lynn, amazed, said, "I had no idea my girlfriend could sing so well and play the guitar too." Juan laughed, "I learned in childhood." Lynn replied, "The song you just sang. I want to sing it with you." Juan taught him to play guitar, and they practiced the same song together. Juan arrived at her shooting class, full of enthusiasm, but couldn't hit a single target accurately. Frustrated, she confessed, "I didn't hit any target today." "You're so good at shooting. Please train me. Lynn agreed. Alright, I'll help you. Just then, her Han appeared. Seeing Lynn, he asked, why did you leave the provincial team? You were our best shooter. Lynn explained that he had moved on, focusing on other priorities. Here Lynn's Han asks his coach to bring Lynn into their team, but he says Lynn wouldn't come. So the Han says I'll bring him there at any cost. Then Han comes to Lynn and asks him to join their team, but he refuses and says he had left his past behind. He saw Juan listening everything. When she approached, he shared the full story of his passion for shooting. He had learned shooting from his uncle, and in just 1 year, he became highly skilled. By the second year, he met the Han, 2 years older, who trained him further. Han was the best shooter in his team, but after his uncle's accident, he quit shooting for 5 years, believing he could never return. Elsewhere, Young invited all to dinner, knowing Lynn would also attend. That night, Juan had meticulously prepared notes to explain everything clearly to her friends. At dinner, Juan explains everything. All were surprised. Finally, Lynn confessed in front of everyone. He had loved Juan since high school and had only ever loved her. Everyone was stunned. Sia asked, so are you two in a relationship? They both said yes. Juan and Lynn admitted they had already shared a kiss, making everyone laugh. Juan happily agreed to go on a proper date with Lynn. Juan's father arrived, slightly scolding her. You've been here so long. Not once did you come home for a meal. It had been a weekend, and Juan had stayed out late for her dinner date, which explained her absence. Her father added, if you hadn't come, we would have had to come get you. Calmly, Juan assured him, don't worry, after dinner, I'll head home with you. That evening, an old friend of her father visited. He praised Juan's college entrance exam marks and her achievements in the finance department. While discussing his own son, he mentioned that his son was well settled and suggested that, in the future, Juan and his son could develop a relationship. Juan, understanding where the conversation was heading, told her father, I already have a boyfriend. This slightly surprised her father and uncle, but her uncle smoothly replied, still, you can remain friends. After the dinner, Juan stepped out. Lynn had been waiting for a long time. They walked together, reaching out to hold hands. Han meets Juan to agree Lynn, but she says he wouldn't change his decision. He told her about his all achievement. And during a competition, he left before finals and nobody finds him again. Then she receives call from Lynn. He invited her to his home and tells her that Young and Tion will also come. She agrees and starts blushing. Next weekend, she reached there with his favorite milkshake. Lynn starts to make hot pot and asks her to visit the house. She entered a room and saw HS equals is shooting gun and all medals. When Tion arrives, she asks him, had Lynn left shooting because of his uncle? Young soon joined them, and all four enjoyed the hot pot together. The next morning, he went to meet Juan and took her to the silver shop. Walking through the familiar place, both of them were flooded with memories. Juan commented, if this shop hadn't existed, maybe I wouldn't have met you. Lynn smiled, explaining, I didn't want to close the shop, but the entrance exam demanded it. Now, I've decided to reopen it and continue where we left off. He invited their friends over to strategize a proper business plan, discussing jewelry markets, customer targeting, and overall shop management. During this process, Juan found a silver bracelet tucked inside one of the boxes. Meanwhile, through flashbacks, it was revealed that he came from a poor family. His mother had passed away, and his father was in significant debt, which leave him alone. Due to these circumstances, Lynn had wandered around the city, taking care of himself. The children in the neighborhood often bullies him. Then Uncle finds him, and to him. The next morning, Juan and their friends arrived to reopen the shop. She remembered the first time she had visited the city. Singh entered the shop, but was absent the day before. Curious, Juan asked why no one had told her about the accident that had affected his uncle. Lynn, arriving in anger, starts fighting with him, but Juan stops him. Singh leaves by saying you are the cause of his uncle's death. Then Lynn explains everything to Juan. Both of his parents were doctors, and they were sent to Africa to cure their people. Lynn's mom doesn't want to trouble him, so she decided to leave him with their uncle. His uncle brought also Singh with him. Singh don't like Lynn, and their quarrel starts more. Lynn was found of shooting since his middle school, so uncle sent him to the Tahi shooting school. He slowly wins every competition, and at last was selected in National Youth Olympic. He tells his uncle and asks him to come. him. But at final his uncle doesn't reach. He called him. His uncle says I forgot, but he will reaches there at his final round. Lynn's final rounds start, and uncle starts driving fast and got an accident. He saw uncle's phone where there was no message of Lynn was, and his final match's ticket was also not reached. And he understands Singh has did these all. He goes to Singh and starts fighting. Singh says uncle got accident just because of him and his competition. After that he feels guilty of his uncle's accident and left shooting. Juan, after listening, consoles him and asks him to expand the shop. She saw a banner in college of a marketing competition. She calls everyone and says they would organize their shop's exhibition. She says if they won the competition they would get a fund and can market their shop as well. Lynn sees Han and Juan talking. She comes with him and she tells to him that you should not give up on his dream. Uncle will also don't want him to do this. He says he doesn't want to do anything else. They both go to uncle's hometown to collect his ornament. His elder uncle picks them to house, and because of large rats in her room, she can't sleep. Then door knocks and she saw Lynn there. Lynn, noticing her fear, brought his laptop and began working quietly in his room to keep her company so she wouldn't be disturbed while trying to rest. Juan eventually fell asleep, and Lynn went to his own room. The next morning, they went to Lynn's younger uncle's room and discovered a treasure trove of silver inventory. Among the pieces, they picks all and went to city. She gives a good presentation. They didn't get first prize, but got permission for exhibition of their shop. Then in shop Lynn saw a bracelet sketch which uncle made for him, but couldn't give him. Juan told him she saw that bracelet in the boxes. He ran and picked it. Under it there was a pen drive. He opens it where uncle records many videos. His uncle had always wanted him to follow his dream, whether running the shop or pursuing shooting. He becomes emotional. Lynn thanked Juan for making everything possible. Hugged each other. Afterward, Lynn returned to college to rejoin the provincial shooting team. He asks coach to rejoin, and he confidently replied, I'll prove myself. Just give me a chance. At first, his scores were poor, and other athletes doubted him, saying he had lost his edge. Juan notices that Lynn will be fully occupied with training, so she decides to support him academically. Juan gives him his phone during training, and he discovers a photo she had taken of him earlier. Caption: My boyfriend looks even more handsome while training. This small gesture recharges his spirits. Lynn had been fully immersed in training for 2 weeks, and finally, the day of the test arrived. In the final round, he needed to score 5 points in this round to secure victory. With complete focus, Lynn fired 5 consecutive bullets, hitting every target perfectly. He wins. Juan ran to him and congratulates him. She kissed him, spends time with him, and goes to her dormitory. As training progressed, Lynn's performance steadily improved. During one session, he scored 9.7 while the top scorer achieved 9.8. Meanwhile, Juan visited him, carrying small gifts to encourage him. They decided a location to enjoy together. Juan prepared to accompany Lynn to the city. Before leaving, her mother called and asks her to come home. Lynn comes to see off her on airport and decided to go together in next vacation. To be safe, he saved his mother's landline number, instructing her to call or message him immediately if any problems arose. Juan reached home safely, even though her mother had planned to send her abroad due to poor exam results. Later, Lynn called Juan. She immediately recognized him as the boy who had helped her at the hotel in the past. Juan confessed her love. She tells Juan she had arranged a local university admission for her, but she refuses to go abroad. She crying returns her childhood bracelet to her mom and went back. Lynn comes to pick her. When Juan sees Lynn, she immediately hugged him. He took her to sleep in his room, and he will sleep outside. Juan dried her hair with a hairdryer, and Lynn helped her. Meanwhile, Lynn heads to college for practice, but he is a few minutes late. As a result, the coach punishes him by making him run 10 laps around the ground. At the same time, Juan receives a visit from her mom's secretary, who tries to convince her to come home. Juan firmly refuses, explaining that she is grown up and capable of making her own decisions. Later, she learns that her mom has a liver tumor that is gradually growing and requires urgent surgery, which is risky. Here Lynn's practice sessions continue. Lynn ranks at the bottom, so the other players assume he has no chance in the upcoming competition and leave. After a full day of training, the next day's competition arrived. At last he wins the competition. However, soon after, Juan's mom became very ill, suffering from severe abdominal pain. She was rushed to the hospital. Juan explained to her mom that the tumor was severe and that surgery was essential, even though it was risky. Her mother asks her to break up with him. Juan continued supporting him with his practice and competition preparations. He video calls Juan, but since she was occupied at the hospital, she sent audio updates to him instead. She also informed him about small issues in the dormitory, such as light problems, ensuring he could focus on practice without worrying. Finally, Juan learned from the hospital report that her mom needed urgent surgery. Any delay could worsen her condition significantly. She says she is ready to break up with Lynn. At that time, Lynn sent a message to check on her. He notices she is worried, so he called Liang, who shared everything about her mom's condition. As soon as Lynn heard the news, he requested a few hours leave from training, promising to return before morning practice. After some convincing, he got permission. Meanwhile, Juan's mom received a message on Juan's phone, explaining that Juan had contacted the dad, which made her very angry. She asked Juan to step outside. Outside, Juan suddenly ran and hugged Lynn. Although she revealed everything to him, Lynn controlled his emotions and reassured her. Juan fell asleep, giving him her jacket for warmth. At that moment, Juan's mom appeared outside and saw them. She was speaking with Lynn and insisted him break up with Juan, but he refuses. Lynn explaining how much Juan truly cared. He recalled the time he first met her over a broken bracelet that she had brought to his shop. Hearing this, Juan's mom began to understand the depth of her daughter's feelings. After a few rounds, the elimination rounds began, selecting the top 6 players. Lynn initially ranked 7th, but defeated the 6th-ranked player to enter the top 6. And also Juan's mom was undergoing surgery. At the end, Lynn won. The surgery was successful, and Juan's mom was now out of danger. After receiving his medal, Lynn went to the hospital to meet Juan. Since she was inside, he waited outside and eventually fell asleep. When Juan came out, she rested his head on her shoulder, and they both ended up falling asleep there together. Juan then went out with Lynn to enjoy time together. Meanwhile, Lynn wins several medals in the provincial shooting team, gets selected for the national team, and fulfills his dream of competing internationally and at the Olympics. Juan's mom accepts their relationship. Everyone graduates. Lynn and Juan starts living together, and their romance started.